Daniel Ricciardo finally achieved a long-awaited third-point finish of the 2022 F1 season at the Austrian Grand Prix after a series of disappointing results. He was rated as a driver with the championship-winning capability in the early days of his F1 career with Red Bull Racing, and with his sudden decision to move into the Renault F1 team at the end of 2018 season, it changed everything. Renault was not competitive enough to fight for the top spots, and Ricciardo was unable to continue what he did with Red Bull Racing. After spending 2 seasons with Renault F1 team, which habitually overpromised and underdelivered, the Australian decided to move into the McLaren F1 team, which has a rich history in F1, for the 2021 season. Even though McLaren has a rich history, they are continuously struggling over the years to make a significant impact in the championship battle. They last won a championship back in 2008, more than a decade ago, with Lewis Hamilton. After that, they turned slowly into a midfield team with a deficit in performance compared to the top-ranked team. But McLaren made a good comeback during the 2020 season by clinching the 3rd spot in the Constructors' Championship, and with the addition of Ricciardo into their driver lineup for the 2021 season, McLaren fans hoped for a much improved performance from both McLaren and Ricciardo. But he was unable to find his form with McLaren, struggling throughout the first half of the 2021 season. He had huge pressure in his first season as his young teammate, Lando Norris, performed well with a similar type of car. Despite his poor form, McLaren decided to continue with Ricciardo for the 2022 season as well. But he continued his poor performance, where he was unable to make it into Q2 or Q3 in some qualifying sessions, and he managed only 3 occasions out of 12 completed races to finish the race within the top 10. The last race in Austria was finally a consolatory one for the Honey Badger Daniel Ricciardo, where he finished the race in 9th position, and his teammate Norris finished in the 7th position, slightly ahead of him. "It was okay," Ricciardo said after the race. "I'm obviously happy to have moved forward and got a couple of points out of it. But yeah, I would have loved a bit more pace. There were certainly some areas where I felt better yesterday. I didn't quite have at all times what I wanted in the car today, particularly the first stint. I locked up at the start and got a very big flat spot on the first stint, and I struggled a lot through all the right-hand corners. That was quite a shame because I think we had a good track position. I think I made up 1 or 2 spots on the first lap. That was good, but then I didn't have the pace. With newer tires, it was a little bit better, but it still wasn't everything I hoped for. All that being said, it was a decent race. It was solid but just decent," he added further. This is Ricciardo's 3rd points finish following the top 10 results in Australia and Azerbaijan. Even though he finished the Austrian GP within points, he has a slim chance to secure his McLaren seat for the 2023 season. But the problem is that his contract is running until the end of the 2023 season, and McLaren has to terminate it before the end of the deal. There were some rumors about the replacement of Ricciardo in the midway of the 2022 season due to his poor performances. Names like 2021 F2 champion Oscar Piastri and IndyCar drivers like Colton Herta and Patrick O'Ward are appeared to be the top contenders for Ricciardo's F1 seat, but no indication from the McLaren side regarding any possible replacement in place of Ricciardo for this season, and they seem to be going forward with the Australian driver. Anyhow, rumors regarding Ricciardo's future became a trending topic again with Brown. The CEO revealed there are mechanisms in place to remove the Australian from his seat if McLaren really wished to, and that Ricciardo has failed to meet expectations so far. Ricciardo's main problem is that he is still unable to match with his teammate Lando Norris, who is currently 7th in the driver's standings, and Ricciardo's poor performances directly affect the constructors' standings of McLaren. They had a great season in 2020 when Sainz and Norris drove together for McLaren, and they were able to finish the season in the 3rd position of the constructors' standings, as both the drivers perform equally. But Ricciardo has been able to only manage 17 points after 11 races, standing at 12th position. McLaren's boss, Zak Brown, has finally responded to the rumor that Daniel Ricciardo is going to be dropped for the 2023 season. Not at all within the race team, Brown told Fox Sports Australia when asked whether they are going to drop Ricciardo. "I know it caused a lot of ripples outside, but Daniel and I have a great relationship. We had dinner in London not too long after that. We are trading WhatsApps all the time. Someone asked me a question and I gave an honest answer. It's the same answer Daniel has given and would give, which is that we are not where we want to be. I think on the flip side, if I said no, everything's great, I think some would say, really? You're happy with 12th? Of course I'm not happy with 12th. So it was just an honest answer. It wasn't meant to be critical." Finally, Brown confirmed that Ricciardo will stay with McLaren following their 3-year agreement, and Brown said he knows more performances similar to the victory at Monza in 2021 are still left within Ricciardo. "It doesn't mean we don't think he can win us more races," he explained. "He's a fighter, and his results, since we've said that, he's been much closer to Lando and beaten Lando. So maybe there was something to a little bit of firing him up." When you look at these different athletes, you see coaches that yell at their players. It wasn't the intended consequence, but I think you just keep pushing hard. "We love working with him. He loves the team. We've seen that when we give him a car that's capable of winning. He could win. As he said, last year, he didn't feel he had a good season and he still won. So it's in there. We've just got to figure out how to unlock it. Give him a car he's more comfortable with, and we've got a great relationship," Brown continued further. "If Daniel Ricciardo stays one more year with McLaren, then the hopes of Piastri for a F1 seat also become slim, as Fernando Alonso is not showing any signs of retirement yet. The most possible option for Piastri is to look for an opportunity at the Williams F1 team. There were rumors regarding the possible replacement of Piastri in place of underperforming Nicholas Latifi, who was unable to make any significant impact within the Formula One arena. Under the new administration of Josh Capito, there is a chance for Oscar Piastri to get a F1 seat at Williams for the 2023 season. When asked about Piastri, Williams boss Josh Capito said Oscar for sure is ready to go into F1. "I think he's one on the list for sure. The 2023 drivers market is so busy, and some underperforming drivers need to find their rhythm as soon as possible, and if it is not, many of the current drivers in the F1 grid will lose their F1 seats. Now the doubt over Ricciardo's F1 seat is over to a certain extent, and let's hope that he will find his old glory with McLaren soon."